Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mochi, and today we're going to go over a quick tutorial of how to draw hands. There are many ways of drawing hands, but I'll show you some of the simplest ways. Now, it actually does depend on your art style because a lot of people draw hands that look different from other art styles. If you have more of a cartoony art style, you might clump your fingers together, creating less work for you. However, if your character is chibi, then you might have no fingers at all and draw paws or mitten hands. We all hate hands the same way we hate drawing the other eye, but it's important. I strongly prefer to teach realism to my audience due to how easy it is to stylize it. Kind of like de-evolutionizing. In order to style something, you must first learn everything about it, at least in my opinion. So once you've got your reference, the first thing you want to do is map out the base of the hand, aka the palm. The palm could be a 4-sided shape, but it could also be 5-sided depending on how you draw it. This will help you to map out the fingers as well. And as you see here, I began to redline where I was going to put my fingers. I slowly traced over it with a green brush to see better. Now, it's important to know that fingers aren't sausages or links. They have structure, they have form, and they have a ton of things on them that makes them fingers. These fingers have fat, bone, tissue, muscle, which means even if you're holding a finger as straight as possible, there's always some type of lumpiness to it. That's just how humans work. Let's look at another method called the bamboo method. If you search up online, you won't find much due to it mainly being popular on TikTok. You can also find tutorials of it on YouTube. This is the shape that you will be using a lot during the bamboo method. But however, the bamboo method is basically separating the finger into 3 segments, as I said before, and bending that specific shape in ways where you can technically just map out a finger. Here's an example. So I picked out another reference that has a bit more of dynamicy here, I guess you could call it, but it's a better example to show the bamboo method with. I'm not too well versed in the bamboo method, but I can show you the basics of it. When I start making my hand, I did what I have explained before, start with the base of the palm and then make my way up from there. Redlining the fingers, tracing over, and then using the shape that was mentioned. Now, this hand is a little bit spiffy. I'm not looking at the reference too much while making this hand. I just go off of whatever and eyeballing a lot of things. However, if I were to make this hand a little bit more polished, I would spend more time on it. However, this, as I said, is just practice. I softened the knuckles a little bit, I adjusted the fingers, maybe looked back at the reference once or twice, and then finally I was done with the hand. And so that's the bamboo method. If you ever feel like you want to learn how to draw hands that are kind of bent or grasping at something in a way, I suggest using the bamboo method, as I did here. Let's practice one more time with a hand that's in a little bit of a perspective. Once again, we start with the base of the hand. This time I didn't make the fingers red, but instead just lazily created lines that were supposed to represent the fingers. This time, I really looked closely at the reference. Each finger was carefully constructed so that I'm not exactly tracing, I'm just looking at it and then putting it onto a different form. Fingers will look weird, especially if they're in a certain perspective. Whether it's fishbowl perspective, maybe it's from above, below, from the side. Hands will look weird if they are foreshortened. And that's exactly what our 2 fingers here look like. They're foreshortened. They will be a lot shorter than other fingers, and they will also be more of a circle or elliptical shape, if you will. And if I hadn't said it before, it's helpful to map out the joints. And that is how you draw hands. Of course, it takes a lot of practice, as I say in all of my videos, but you need to practice hands a lot if you want to know how to draw more realistic or 5-fingered hands. And if you are considering buying one of those hand mannequins from the arts and crafts store, don't do it. It's not a good investment. They're poorly jointed and they don't have any articulation in them. Probably one of the worst buys I've ever had. Instead, using really 3D articulated hands, such as the ones you can find on Pose My Art, are a better reference for if you need a really specific hand shape that you can't quite find on Pinterest. And as always, you can use your own hand. If you can, always use boxes for fingers as well. This video was specifically requested by my Discord art server. I'm hoping to build a very small, peaceful, and quiet community that welcomes all types of artists. Link is in the description below. As always, I hope you guys have a great week. See you next time.